When you've reached really the pinnacle of management, being a director, your people actually come to you. I want them to be problem solvers. I don't want them just to rely on me. Please don't come to me with a problem, for goodness sake. That's not who I want working for me. I want someone who has a solution as well. So anytime someone comes to me with a problem, my way of influencing them would be, right, what do you think? Hello everyone, welcome to the Now What podcast, episode 19. My name is Glenn Sharp. I am the president and CEO of Sharp Leadership Development. We are in snowy Cincinnati. There's about 14 inches of snow on the ground outside, so I'm sure, just like me, you guys are probably in the thick of it. I think all the way down to Florida, they're experiencing pretty tough weather. So I hope you guys are staying warm and safe and hang in there. I'm sure winter will be over pretty soon here, but in the meantime, we're going to cover some pretty cool topics. Let's get into it right away. As you know, we are going over some specific scenarios. And let's start with one of my clients, Jimmy from Charlotte. If you notice and read along with me, he's a current manager, team of 9. So it's a fairly small team. He's got some success at this particular position, but his VP approached him. And just recently, he let him know he's considering him for a director role. So this is next level stuff we're talking about here. This is a completely different position than being a manager, right? And it would involve overseeing around 60 people with 5 direct reports. So he'll actually be managing managers, and that's why it's so different. All right, I'll just read along with you here. I want to achieve as much as possible in my career, but I also know this will be a stretch from my skill set. So his current skill set, he's wondering about it. How do I make the transition from manager to director? So what are the skill sets vital to success in this new role, in this new and scary role, he calls it. So Jimmy, I get it, man. I get it. It's not as scary as you think, though. All right? Obviously, just like when you made the jump from individual contributor to manager, same type of jump from manager to director, all right? And obviously they see something in you, so congratulations, that's awesome. I know it hasn't happened yet, but obviously they see something in you, whether they're gonna groom you for this position or put you into this position and train you. They see a lot of cool things in you, and this is a great opportunity for you, all right? So I will teach you some things to think about and to look out for, and the difference between really a manager and a director in our next 15 minutes here. Let's start off with the results cone. You guys know me, I love this thing. I love the concept of the results cone. Your thinking drives your behavior, behavior drives results. And Jimmy, I just want you to know you're gonna have to think differently now, okay? It's a completely different job that you're doing. Being a director is different. Managing managers is different than just managing 9 direct reports. You've got a large team. You cannot do it all. 60 people, you've got 5 direct reports. You have to trust it, and you're going to have to delegate. All right, so we'll talk a little bit about that, but one of the things I want you to think about, and a lot of people approach me in regards to the director position or the VP position, is, Glenn, I don't know anything about like all these financials and things like that. And what I want to talk to you about, Jimmy, is having the confidence enough to know that you don't know everything about this position. That's okay. You're not supposed to know everything about the position. Having that conversation with your boss as well as your VP and let them know, hey, listen, I just want to cover expectations with you guys. I've never been a director before. I think I have what it takes to do this. But for example, when I was in one of the meetings to cover for my boss when he was on vacation, you guys are going over financial terms I've never even heard of. And to be honest with you, Jimmy, I've been in lots of those meetings, and some of those financial terms are basically made up. I mean, I've never heard of them either. And you have to kind of learn their way. They have different way of looking at things, different acronyms, they have different spreadsheets. You cannot possibly learn all that stuff in school or even in other jobs. So having the confidence enough to know and to let your VP know, because you'll be reporting to the VP now, letting them know, hey, listen, I need a plan here. You're going to have to train me on this stuff. I wasn't born with this information. You're going to have to train me on this. And I want to make sure you and I are okay with, I don't know. Yes, the words I don't know, because I'm learning, right? And as long as you're cool with that, absolutely, I will accept the position if offered to me. But that's confidence. And the confidence comes from the fact that they promoted you. Why? Because you do a fantastic job, right? You are an exceptional manager, so they want you to get to the next level. And obviously, it's going to be tough there for a while. You're going to have to get used to it. But just like the manager position, you'll get it, Jimmy. You and I have worked together for a while, and I know how smart you are. You will get this. You just need to look out for a few things. For me, the difference between a manager and a leader is those two words, vision and influence. So what do I mean by vision? Well, for me, vision is, do I focus down the road, right? Do I see things that other people do not? I'm not talking about ghosts. I'm talking about anticipate. Do I do my due diligence? Am I constantly coming up with new ideas? Do I see certain attributes in people that others do not? Do I see opportunities where others do not, right? So that's vision. That's a different skill set than just being a manager, managerial skill sets, right? That's different when you become a leader. And as a director, you need to have more of those leadership qualities. You need to have vision. We'll talk about that in a second. The other one's influence, right? And influence, for me, and it's just my definition, can I get people to do things that they ordinarily would not do, right? Can I get someone to try new things, to stretch themselves, right? Can I influence others to help in areas that they never thought they would help in, right? Can I get people to a level where they wouldn't be able to go, right? Or they didn't think they could ever go? That's influence, right? And you ever wonder why there are certain individuals that people tend to respond to them, or they always get a yes? It's because they know how to speak to people and they know how to influence people, right? And that starts right away. You are going to be building this culture, Jimmy, on this team. Right? If you remember from the book, culture is at the micro level. That's where it's defined, the micro level, right? And you have a new team of 60, and you're going to have to redefine this culture for them, especially with 5 direct reports who are going to be looking to you to get that very definition. So let's talk a little bit about the first one, and that is vision. What I suggest to people all the time is what the American Management Association suggests, and that is create a mission, vision, and value statement for your team. The AMA really hypes up having a mission, vision, and value statement for your intact team. It's great to have one for the company, but having one for your team, it's a little bit different. There's some nuance involved in your team versus company-wide. And they always suggest, the AMA, having a picture-based mission, vision, and value statement. Why? Because nobody remembers mission statements, right? They'll have 3 paragraphs, and and even the people who create it don't remember it. This is from a company that I work with, and they're in the airline industry. They fix and maintain airplanes. And really what a mission statement is, it's what are we all about? What defines us, okay? And then a vision statement is where do we want to go to, right? 5 years from now, what do we want to be? Right? And then a value statement are one-word snippets and phrases that are really, really important to us. So these guys, this is a rough draft, obviously. It's as rough as you get, but they went ahead and turned this into an actual mission, vision, and value statement that was very professional. They had it professionally done and printed. It looked fantastic, but this is what they drew on the whiteboard. But it's the actual meaning behind it that you want to focus on, not so much the horrible arts, okay? So it's really, I know it's tough to see, but it's really a medal, okay? And there's a ribbon coming out of it. That's supposed to be a ribbon, okay? So gold medal means gold standard. That's where we want to be in 5 years. We want to be the gold standard in the MRO industry, fixing, maintaining airplanes. If you notice, they've got a triangle, and that triangle is being held up by people, right? And that's what really matters to this organization, is their people. They're the foundation. And if you notice, you've got quality on the bottom, unbelievably important. I mean, you can imagine if you don't have quality work on an airplane, that could turn into just an absolute horror show. And then you see the clock on the top. Everything's about time. They're really selling hours. That's what these guys do. They sell blocks, large blocks of time, and that's how they make their money. But then you see on the bottom, safety. Everything, the foundation of everything is safety, and you see the safety nets, right? And how important it is to make sure that people understand what do we mean by safety, right? That is, we're supposed to go home at the end of the day. It'd be very easy to get killed in one of these hangars. You've got large machinery in this big aircraft and just a ton of different moving parts going on. And the point is to be safe, and they take it very, very seriously. The interesting part about this medal, though, and this picture, are the chain links that are going from the triangle to the outer band of the medal. Those chain links represent people, and the concept is we're only as good as our weakest link. And that is to make sure everyone remembers that, listen, we can't have mediocrity. You have to pull your weight, do your job, right? And if someone doesn't do their job, there's a ripple effect and it affects others. Now, the interesting part about something like this is, once they went ahead and had a professional version done, it is on every single email. It's on the top of every single meeting agenda that they have. They have it in the hallways, but they also make sure they remind themselves. When they have a new hire come in, they describe what this means and give the context, right? They take this thing very, very seriously. So it's just a cool way to get your team on the same page, get them involved in what the goal is for the team, right? As you all formulate this thing together. But it's a great team building event, but it's a great way to make sure everybody's on the same page as well, okay? The second concept that you see is just the very notion of when you become a director, the goal is for the past to be the present. So what do I mean by that? If you're a director and you're at that level and you have 60 people on your team, Jimmy, and you got 5 direct reports, you have to be focused on the future, okay? Your mindset needs to be 3 months from now, 6 months from now, right? You have to be ahead of things. So, for example, when I used to oversee and manage at the Cobb Galleria Convention Center in Atlanta, when I walked into an event, I walked in with a tuxedo and I just watched what I created. I wasn't working on the now. I literally planned this thing 6 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, whatever it was. When I walked in there, I knew that it was well run because of everything that we went through. But I let my direct reports handle the day-to-day, right? And even some of them, they would help me handle the future as well. But I am not stuck in the weeds. I can't be stuck in the weeds as a director. I have to keep moving us forward, but I have to make sure that my mindset is ahead of the game. I'm well ahead. The present already happened, okay? It's the past, right? I'm focused on the future, and that's what I mean by that. I also want you to think about, when it comes to vision, what Stephen Covey talks about, begin with the end in mind. Whenever you do goal setting, Jimmy, it's making sure you think about what does success look like a year from now, and then you work your way backwards, right? And that's what people who are smart and successful do. They have a vision, right? And then they plan and they describe that vision, but then they go ahead and work their way backwards to the present. And an example of that would be, and this is something I really want you to think about with your team, is imagine one of your goals is 2 of your direct reports are trained to be able to take over your job in a year. Imagine, now obviously they're not ready yet. It's going to take a while for you to train them. But imagine a year from now you have 2 direct reports that can do everything you can do. What that would do for all of you. That would free up your time considerably. You'll be able to work on special projects. You'll be able to really get ahead of things and grow your department. These guys will obviously be in the running for promotion. You're separating them from the rest of the team. You're giving them skills and abilities that they can basically use forever, right? And it's just a win-win situation, right? But it's something I want you to think about when you go to your team and you kind of analyze who you have on that staff of 5. Think about those 2 top performers and pick the ones that want to be promoted. Obviously, you're going to pick the ones that are your best, but it's important to make sure that you have those type of goals. That's what vision looks like right there. So let's talk a little bit about influence. Right? Remember, for me, it's getting people to do things that they ordinarily would not do. So, for example, direct reports coming to you with ideas, right? That is the pinnacle. When you've reached the pinnacle of influence, when you've reached really the pinnacle of management, being a director, your people actually come to you. It's much easier to revise than it is to create. But I want to get them into the mode of working together, number one, but also constantly coming up with new ideas, constantly pushing them to get to the next level. And when they come to you with an idea and say, hey boss, just want to let you know, the 5 of us got together, we've been working on this for about a month, right? Here's what we came up with. Here are the 3 options. We like option 2. What are your thoughts, right? So much easier to do that than it is to create on your own if you're a director, right? You have to be able to rely on them to help you create and move you into the future. It's a great team building activity for them. It gets them into the mindset of work with each other, make sure we're there for each other, right? But it also helps you because obviously you don't have to do all the dreaming. You don't have to do all the heavy lifting when it comes to moving forward and a new idea generation. The other one is you look at in the middle. For me, this is just a mindset. When I try to influence others, one of the things that I want to make sure they understand culturally on my team is please don't come to me with a problem. For goodness sake, anyone can come to me with a problem. That's not who I want working for me. I want someone who has a solution as well. So anytime someone comes to me with a problem, my way of influencing them would be, what do you think? Right? What do you think? Right? Come to me with a solution. Come with me with some options. Let me know what you would do. I want them to be problem solvers. I don't want them just to rely on me and, oh, Daddy, can you help me with everything? I'm not your daddy. I'm your boss. I'm a director, and you guys are well paid, and I want that kind of mindset. I want someone who is going to think for themselves. It makes them incredibly strong, right? It frees up time for me, right? But I want to be able to eventually trust them enough where just make the decision. Let me know what decision you made. You don't have to ask me for everything and permission for everything. You guys are managers, and I want you to act like managers, right? I want you to be confident and strong, and I want you to walk around here with that confidence that you can make decisions on your own. But obviously, you're going to have to earn my trust in regards to that first. And that's a great way to do it when people have that mindset of that independence and ownership, and I am going to solve this for my boss. The final one under influence, if you see who you got, and I used to get made fun of all the time when I was a young district manager. I would ask store managers all the time that question. There's the New York attitude coming, or New York accent coming out in me. But when I asked them who you got, what I meant was, who do you have to replace you? Right? That's what I meant. And I don't want to hear the following. I don't want to hear, oh, I think this person would be good for a district manager position because they're nice. I don't want to hear that. That's ridiculous, to be honest with you. What I want to hear is, boss, when I went on vacation, they took over my district for me. They have been conducting meetings for me. They have been collecting my financial data for me. They've been doing so many different things that a district manager would do. I would give them a shot. They haven't done everything, but they've done enough to warrant an interview. That's what I want to hear. I want you to test them. I don't want these guys, I don't want to guess, I want to test them so that they are prepared and they are letting me know that they can do that particular job, right? And that's the way to do it. It keeps them interested. People love to be developed, or especially people who want to be promoted. It keeps them interested. It gives them a sense of ownership. It lets them know that they are separate from the rest of the staff. But it also, similar to you grooming and training 2 people by the end of the year, right? It also helps the district manager out. Imagine how much time and effort the district manager can save by having someone who is an up-and-comer and wants to be a district manager take on some of their tasks. It's a win-win for everyone, right? And it's influencing someone to get to the next level, and that's what you want, Jimmy. So there are just some ideas in regards to how to influence, and ideas on how to really have that vision, get your team into that vision as well, and I hope that helped. For those of you that are not familiar with the channel, you see Now What all over the desk here and all over in the banner. The podcast is really loosely based on the book that I wrote, and that is called Now What, right? And it's a fantastic book. It will be a great gift for someone who you're trying to test, an aspiring manager, someone who is really trying to get to the next level. Jimmy, I would definitely give this to your 5 managers because there's so much good stuff in here, and a lot of the stuff that we cover in the podcast is in the book as well. All right, so it's a great gift idea. It's available on Amazon. I think you guys will really love it. You can get it in paperback and an ebook. So go ahead and order that. We'll continue to tackle real-world problems. This is kind of how we're going to continue to roll. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback so far in regards to this. So for next week, for episode 20, we're going to review a question from Jeanette in Chicago. And this is regarding a concept that she read in the book about the strainer. And really what the strainer is about, it's in the first meeting that I had, coaching session that I have with Johnny. It's about keeping things simple and how important that is, and being a strainer for your team, making sure that you are constantly filtering the communications and everything that you get from above, so that you make it simple for your folks, right, on your team. So we'll talk about that, and I'll read you Jeanette's scenario next week. I hope this helps, guys. Thank you for tuning into the podcast. Good luck in your management and leadership journey, and I'll see you next time for episode 20.